I woke up to the sound of someone trying to kick my front door off the hinges. It was 4:52 in the morning, pitch black outside, and the power was out across the whole block, except for my little solar porch light, shining like a spotlight on my front lawn. In that circle of light stood three men, all wearing matching dark green polos, with yellow lettering khaki pants and fake-looking badges clipped to their belts. They were big, built like hired muscle, and they were pounding on my door like they owned the place. I'm Jack Miller, and I fix things for a living. Cars, wiring, plumbing, whatever's broken, I get it running again. My wife Claire fixes bigger things. She just got sworn in as county sheriff a few weeks ago after the old one retired, but we kept it quiet. No announcement, no Facebook posts, just a new badge on her hip and a weight on her shoulders I could see even when she slept. We thought we'd have time to adjust to our new normal before trouble found us. Turns out, trouble was already waiting. When the knocking started, Claire was out of bed before me, calm and steady like she always is. I peeked through the blinds and saw them standing there, their truck parked half a block away with no markings. My phone buzzed. The door camera was still working, thanks to its own solar battery. I had a perfect view of their faces, their shirts, even the snapped utility lock at the curb. These guys had cut the power on purpose. I cracked the door just enough for the chain to hold. "What's the emergency?" I asked, keeping my voice flat. The man in the middle puffed up like a rooster. "Major power fluctuation from this address. We need access to your breaker box right now." "You cut the power yourselves," I shot back. That wiped the smirk off his face. He reached for the door, and that's when Claire stepped out from the hallway. She didn't yell or wave her gun around. She just stepped into the light, held up her badge, and said, "I'm Sheriff Claire Miller, and you three are trespassing. You've tampered with public utilities, which is a felony, and you're attempting to enter a private home under false pretenses. Give me your names, or I'll have warrants by noon." The look on their faces was priceless, like kids caught with their hands in the cookie jar. They muttered something about a misunderstanding and backed away fast, then sprinted to their van and peeled out. I shut the door, locked it, and turned to Claire. "That's got Karen's fingerprints all over it," I said. Karen Finch, the HOA president, had been after us for months, complaints about my work truck letters, about my lawn. This wasn't about grass height anymore. This was war. 2 days later, I caught one of the same guys outside by the breaker box in broad daylight, trying to rip the meter off the wall with a pair of pliers. I filmed him through the garage door before stepping out. "Looking for another fire hazard?" I asked. He spun around, pliers clattering to the ground. "Mind your business," he growled, stepping toward me. "This is my business," I said, standing my ground. He shoved me hard in the chest. Before I could react, I heard the quiet click of the back door. Claire walked out in full uniform, calm but sharp as a blade. "Sir, you're under arrest for property destruction and assault," she said. And before the guy even knew what hit him, she had him face down on the grass with his arm pinned behind his back. Deputies hauled him off 10 minutes later, and word spread fast. People in the neighborhood started whispering. They didn't know Claire was sheriff yet, but they knew Karen's inspector had been taken away in cuffs. Karen didn't back down. She doubled the fines on half the neighborhood, including Mr. Patel, the quiet man who ran the corner store. At the next HOA meeting, the community center was packed. Karen stood at the podium, smug as ever, dismissing everyone's concerns. Mr. Patel stood up, voice shaking, and said, "You fined me $5,000 for my mailbox post being the wrong shade of white. I have the receipt from the paint store. This is not right." Karen smiled like she'd been waiting for him. "Then maybe you should live somewhere else if you can't follow the rules," she said. That was the moment something in the room snapped. People shouted, chairs scraped, and a man named Henderson, who'd been in a fence dispute with Karen for years, lost it. He pulled out a pistol, waving it around, screaming that he was done with her harassment. The room exploded into chaos. People dove under tables, but Claire didn't flinch. She moved through the crowd like a shadow came up on Henderson's blind side, and with one sharp strike to his wrist, sent the gun clattering to the floor. In 3 seconds flat, he was pinned face first on a folding table, and Claire was calling it in. The room went dead silent. Everyone had just seen who really had authority in this neighborhood, and it wasn't Karen. That night, Karen played her next card. A tow truck rolled up to my driveway near midnight, trying to hook my work truck. When I confronted the driver, he smirked and says it's gotta go. Then a second man stepped out, swinging a heavy chain like he was ready to make a point. I warned him once. He stepped closer, swung the chain at my legs, and I did the one thing he didn't expect. I stepped inside the arc, grabbed his wrist, and used his own weight to flip him hard onto the driveway. By the time deputies arrived, I had the whole thing recorded. The tow driver cracked under questioning and admitted Karen had paid him cash under the table. That's when the case turned from neighborhood drama into criminal conspiracy. But Karen still wasn't done. The next week, someone placed a fake 911 call reporting a hostage situation at our address, hoping to trigger a SWAT raid. What they didn't know was that Claire had pre-flagged our address with dispatch no action without her confirmation. Instead of a raid, deputies quietly traced the call to the HOA treasurer, Arthur Miller, who was caught sitting in a coffee shop with 2 burner phones and a bag of cash. He broke the moment they put cuffs on him and told them everything about the fake inspectors, the cash payouts, even a secret storage unit Karen used as her headquarters. The raid on that locker was the turning point. Inside were boxes of fake badges, pre-printed violation notices, ledgers showing years of fraud, and files on dozens of neighbors. She'd been spying on all of us, digging up dirt to use as leverage. My file was there too, photos of my truck, my tools, even credit reports. It stopped being about petty power. This was control, intimidation, and blackmail. When Karen tried to flip the script by filing for a restraining order against me, claiming I'd attacked her poor associate, I walked into court with police reports, video footage, and sworn affidavits. The judge didn't just throw it out. She scolded Karen's lawyer and forwarded everything to the district attorney. Karen's final mistake was sending a drone over my house trying to catch me slipping. I took photos of its FAA registration number and turned it over to Claire. Within 24 hours, deputies seized the drone and downloaded its flight logs, dozens of illegal flights over our property and our neighbors, plus hours of video of kids playing in their yards. That was the last nail. A week later, just before sunrise, unmarked cruisers rolled quietly into our street. Deputies knocked politely on Karen's door and led her out in cuffs, silk robe, and all. She looked small, humiliated, powerless. As the sun came up, I stood at my window with a cup of coffee, watching the patrol car disappear down the road. For the first time in months, the neighborhood felt quiet in the right way. The HOA went into receivership, new elections were scheduled, and Mr. Patel joined the committee. Claire took all our evidence and pushed through a new county rule: no HOA can tow or inspect without a written sheriff-approved request. No paperwork, no action. That one vote changed everything. Now on weekends, I sit on my porch with Claire, listening to those wind chimes Karen once called aesthetic violations, and let the peace soak in. We didn't just win, we fixed what was broken. And this time it's going to stay fixed. So tell me if your HOA ever pulled something like this: illegal inspections, fake fines, even a swatting attempt. How far would you go to fight back? Would you take them to court or settle it your own way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you'd do.